Hello kindred longevity lifestyle designers, this is Gavin, your secretsoflongevity.com. This is a video that's been in a long time with the intention of being made, and I finally got around to it, partly because of this great article I just read that really summarized all the points I need to make for me, which I'm going to link to below this video. Give full credit to Chris Kresser, who's written that article and gathered the research that he's referenced. So all the scientific links are there to the medical studies. And I have covered this topic to some degree in another video, which I'm going to link to in a moment from this video, but you can also find a link to that in the drop-down menu. But that only dealt with the portion of this whole discussion that's around protein. So this is the topic of what I call the myth of the acid-alkaline diet. So the idea that we need to eat a lot more alkaline foods because if you touch a single acidic food, you're going to have your face fall off, or whatever it is they're saying about it these days.
Those crazy pseudo-scientists.
So basically, there's a number of things in foods that would be considered acidic, or depending on what idea around this acid-alkaline diet thing you subscribe to, it could be the ash of the food. There is one element to it, the ideas that have some validity, which is the mineral contents of foods. Certain minerals are more acidic, certain are more alkaline, and it would make sense that if you're getting too many of one type of mineral and the other, you're going to end up with an imbalance. However, that's not an imbalance based on the alkalinity or acidity of the mineral. It's based on a nutritional excess or deficiency of different nutrients, specifically these minerals. So it can be the minerals, it could be the ash of the food, it could be the protein content, and all these things affect whether something's considered acidic or not. And without trying to cover all the different ideas of the acid-alkaline theory, which if you haven't heard about, there's plenty of rhetoric online for you to go read and kind of laugh at if you can actually stand up for the science and the better reasoning that comes out of an article such as Chris Kresser's. Because there's been a lot of false claims about everything from fermented foods to mushrooms to even microalgae, and that's just within the foods accepted in the vegan world. If you get into foods like animal foods, there's a lot of emphasis put on being against that for these reasons of them being acidic. So essentially there's only three ways we can talk about this if it were to have validity, and in all three categories, Chris Kresser has demolished any basis for there being any validity to this. So there's the physiology, so a lot of explanations for why alkaline diets are healthy is this bad understanding of physiology. And then of course there's the observational studies and the clinical studies. Clinical studies having a little bit more weight to them because the observational, as we all know, is correlative, and correlation does not equal causation. That's where clinical studies come in. Correlation studies just give us an acknowledgement of a need to look further in depth at these things. So essentially the idea or the big myth is that when you eat something acidic, it does something to your blood or some other fluid in your body, and your bones have to release calcium as an alkaline mineral to offset it. However, the same poor thinking says that milk is acidic even though it's loaded with calcium. So there's a lot of this sort of hypocritical understanding within these ideologies that base this thing around acid-alkaline diet. So every time I see someone posting about the alkaline theory or emphasizing it, it just makes me shake my head. Yes, it's great to eat greens, it's great to eat all these things that are said to be alkaline forming and have alkaline minerals in them because we need alkaline minerals. That's the whole idea around eating a varied diet, is you get a little bit of everything in there and you emphasize the stuff you're deficient in if you're taking the proper measures to know what it is you're lacking in your lifestyle. But definitely check out Chris Kresser's article. He clearly explains how the kidneys take all the responsibility of removing any acidity from excess consumption of so-called acidic foods, and there's no involvement of the bones. That's been thoroughly debunked in the scientific literature. The kidneys produce something called bicarbonate, which is released in the blood and neutralizes any acids, and the waste product is carbon dioxide. Guess how we get rid of carbon dioxide? So if you feel like you're getting acidic, hyperventilation has been known to alkalize you. That is what it comes down to. If you think you're acidic, breathe more. If you think you're alkaline, breathe less. It's as simple as that. The thing about diet is complete bunk. I will be posting this video as a reference or a response to anyone that tries to bring up this faulty explanation on any video in the future where I'm actually looking at the comments. We really need to voice our opinion on this and, call people out on bad science and bad reasoning within the holistic health community. You constantly hear me harping on about this in my videos now or in the comments about logical fallacies, bad thinking overall, and all these other things that people use to try and push an ideology when if you are truly about better health and adhering to what the facts show us, then you can't adhere to these bad ways of thinking, and you have to use this model of better thinking to apply yourself and get to the heart of the matter so that you can adopt what's ideal for you and not have it based in some sort of pseudoscientific ideology that, when it comes down to it, doesn't hold any weight. One response I can imagine hearing, and I know will come up in some people's minds whether they voice it in a comment or not, is that, well, if you actually look at the people advocating this diet, they look great or they've had success with it, etc. It's like, yes, having success with something does not mean that the theories underlying it are what's giving that person the success. Also, what we call success these days, which is sometimes just the reversal of something, is not indicative of long-term sustainability on any program, whether it's just diet or an overall lifestyle approach. And often the key is within the whole lifestyle, because some people make many changes at once. In fact, in almost all cases where someone's overcome an illness or a disease, whether chronic or acute, there's been multiple lifestyle factors that get changed, and then often one element within the whole paradigm of their dietary change gets blamed for or gets given the credit for the turnaround in their health. Like I mentioned, if you're deficient in magnesium and you suddenly start eating a liter of green juice a day and you're getting 3, 4, 5 times more magnesium on a daily basis than you were getting before, it makes complete sense that you start feeling better and having better health. If it was any other sort of mineral that's abundant within alkaline foods and you start eating more alkaline foods, yes, you can get healthier, but that doesn't mean that it was the meat or some other food that was causing acidity and causing you harm. It was the lack of certain minerals. Definitely check out this video of mine as well if you're unfamiliar with the whole protein side of it, because the idea is that if you eat too much protein, that's acidic and causes leaching from the bones. And again, I give references in this video here. I even talk about how there's been changes on a genetic level showing that we have an increase in the production of an enzyme. That's the same enzyme that cats produce in a larger quantity. And if we compare ourselves to chimpanzees, we have a lot more of this enzyme, which helps us break down uric acid, which people say is a burden on the kidneys. And simply put, more protein actually equals lower uric acid levels. Yes, higher purines in the diet can cause issues, but that happens more when you have a metabolic disorder on top of eating too many organ meats. That's why there's the whole liver and onions issue with gout. People often associate liver and joint problems and uric acid with consuming animal foods, but it's essentially eating it on top of an already imbalanced system. And what we know for a bigger fact nowadays, and we're seeing a bigger resurgence of it, is fructose causing gout-like symptoms. And this is from largely the fast food industry, because they inject high fructose corn syrup into every single ingredient on every single menu all over the planet, it seems. Once again, it comes down to you need to eat according to what your body needs. We're not about trying to establish a set plan. We're definitely interested in breaking down these weird ideas that get pushed in so-called cutting-edge health circles, which might have some great information going for them, but when they get stuck on these weird ideas like the acid-alkaline diet, I definitely feel the need to say my piece and give reference to those who are doing a very good job of bringing the research to light. So yes, I had to wait till someone did it because I don't always have the time to do that much in-depth research on every single topic. But this one was laid out there in such a great way that I had to give a big kudos out to Chris Kresser for arranging that. And I think he's going to have a sequel to that article with more information on some of the ideas around the acid-alkaline myth. So let me know what you think in the comments below, like, favorite, and share this video if you feel so inclined. And with that, I'll talk to you next time. Take care and embrace life without limits.